Hi, this is Ashley Swartz, CEO of Furious Corp and contributor to Beat TV. I'm so excited to be participating and moderating again on the event that Beat is hosting with 4Info on March 5th about consumer identity and sort of what that looks like in a cross-screen world. So what does that really mean? Well, it's kind of the holy grail for advertising and media, right? It's this concept of, can we really crack the nut at designing and defining what is an unduplicated reach curve with confidence? And for digital, that's sort of been somewhat of an attainable goal. But when we start to include television or traditional media platforms into that, it's basically been, a black hole. It's been difficult because we don't really know who's watching television at what time, with maybe a small exception of the sort of addressable set-top box footprint. But then it is who in the household is really watching television at that time. Well, with changing audience behaviors, more over-the-top and authenticated TV delivery experiences, the sort of slight decline in traditional television cable operator audiences and subscribers, world is our oyster today. So let's talk about that. What does it really mean? Well, let's talk about me. So I love the show New Amsterdam, and I watch that at home quite often through the authenticated NBC app, or I'll catch up on demand when I'm at my boyfriend's house watching the app on his set-top box on demand, time shifted. I then work all day in the city. I use my tablet, I commute, I use my mobile while I'm commuting, I'm in the gym, I'm on my mobile device. So there are all these opportunities to deliver me potentially an impactful, up funnel ad, like a sight, sound, and motion, a 15 or 30-second spot somewhere on what is a premium television-like experience. And then follow me to my other devices to help carry me down the funnel. Ideally, if I was a marketer, hopefully probably to get me to take action in the form of a purchase or converting to something. That's sort of the utopic, simplistic view of how leveraging an identity graph or an unduplicated reach curve, because you're catching me as a marketer or advertiser on every device and every experience, and you know what optimal format and content is to be delivered to get me to do, or ideally carry me through the consumer journey in the fastest, most efficient way possible as I move from device to device. So clearly that's why it's valuable, right? One, you understand where audiences are and you can retarget them, but also you can frequency cap because you know who's seen an ad before, and you can make sure they don't see it again, or it doesn't become obtrusive, or sort of compromise an experience of actually seeing that ad or the perception of the brand as a result of overexposure. That's sort of the real simple mechanics of it, right? But the big question is, how's this possible now, right? Television hasn't changed necessarily. There's addressable set-top boxes are still a small subset of the footprint, but ultimately we're at a place now where we have aware devices. So there are mobile applications that can listen, because almost everybody is multitasking and has their mobile device when they're watching television. So it knows what you're watching and when. So much more television is watched on digital IP, internet-enabled devices. You have an IP address in the household, or that is on a device that is one-to-one to a person. It's my mobile, it's my tablet, it's my laptop, etc. It makes it easier to sort of be aware of what television content an individual is consuming. And then we have technologies which are just now becoming meaningful but have been around for a while, like automatic content recognition, ACR, watermarking. Nielsen, for example, uses a lot of that in some of their television measurement products. And then ultimately, there are measurement companies like Nielsen and Comscore, etc., that are really trying to develop currencies that leverage all of these technologies to actually track what is real reach for a specific piece of content delivered to an audience across an ecosystem and broad-reaching selection of devices and platforms. So what's going to make this real? Well, first and foremost, confidence in the data, right? Confidence in the actual delivery, confidence in the reach, in the real reach, in the lack of duplication within a reach curve, also in the confidence in the frequency capping, knowing ultimately who is watching, confirming that, but then making sure they're not being overexposed, just the integrity of the actual data that's being leveraged to deliver against an identity graph or an unduplicated reach curve. And then ultimately, it's going to require that data providers work together, right? Probably not one individual that has content is going to have maybe an audience that even in any way, shape, or form reaches the reach That's sort of funny. It breaches the sort of order of magnitude of the breadth of an audience and the reach of an audience television provides. So ultimately, multiple data providers and platforms and content recognition providers, et cetera, are going to have to come together to marry their data sets to maximize the total audience within an identity graph they make available. The data, again, has to be reliable. It has to be easy to use and integrated into ad delivery systems to plan against it. It has to be easy to buy. So not just easy to buy from the perspective of understanding the value of the inventory and what you're getting for your dollar and what the effective CPM or effective rate is. You also have to be able, that's complex, reach curves, frequency, up of the funnel, down of the funnel. I mean, still many brands, different people buy TV than plan digital, performance media versus reach media, upper funnel stuff. Ultimately that all has to come together and it has to be easy. So it is going to be our job on the supply side of the ecosystem to help educate buyers, planners, and marketers. It's super exciting. Everyday data enables marketers and advertisers to reach audiences in more engaging ways. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about trust, reliability, and integrity of the data sets with which we work to make our decisions and plan our businesses. And I'm excited to be part of the conversation on March 5th and talk more about that.